Hi there guys, welcome along to another video. Today I'm with Sharan.
Hello.
Sharan is, how long have we been together now? Doing some training?
4 months, maybe 3.5, 4 months.
About 4 months. So just tell us, just bring the viewers up to speed with sort of where you're at, because we're going to be recording a few lessons this week, aren't we? Just bring the viewers up to speed with where we're at really, and sort of where you've come from, if you like.
Actually, I've started training with one of the instructor in Derby.
Okay.
As I was approaching the test date, the instructor said I was pretty much ready for the test, but I had a feeling like I wasn't ready. So that is when I've approached you. Like, I was watching some of your videos in YouTube.
Okay.
And that's when I gave you a call. I said, okay, I have my test in 2 weeks, but I don't think I'm there, and I wanted to train with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it started.
Yeah. So we met up, didn't we?
Yeah. And then once I've started training with you, I realized like I didn't actually learn anything from the previous instructor. Yeah. If I had gone to the test, I would have failed for sure. Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been training with you since like September, I believe. Yeah.
What month are we now? December. 18th, isn't it today? Yeah, good. Yeah, a few months now, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've been going through starting from the basics. Like, if you remember, like we did some session in the parking lot, like how to use the controls manually, like getting a feel for the steering. So we actually started from the basics and then slowly progressed. So
we had to sort of go back a bit to get the bits in that was missing or wasn't quite as they should be.
Yeah.
Okay, so it soon became apparent that you wasn't ready for test, and there was lots and lots of gaps in your knowledge. We've been working since, haven't we, to put all that right, working quite hard, and I feel like we're making good progress, do you?
Yeah.
So sorry?
We did, like, especially for the past week or two.
Yeah.
We've been doing good.
Yeah, been a real, if it was a graph, it would be a real curve upwards the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So that's been really cool to see. And you've got your test, what is it, the first week of Jan now, is it?
Yeah, first week, like 2nd of Jan. 2nd
of January. So we've got quite a few sessions booked in this week when we're going to really try and hit things hard and just see where things are.
Yeah.
We've got to do another mock test, don't we, as well, as we go through. We need to do that fairly soon, which, before we go any further, is there any hints or tips you would give anybody watching when choosing a driving instructor so they don't make the same mistake as you did? Because you wasted how much money?
Maybe £700.
£700?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any tips you'd give to, apart from obviously come with myself?
That is the best tip I can give, yeah.
But what? Yeah.
Call Matt and go driving with him. Yeah, that's it. Easy, isn't it?
Save yourself a ton as well on
exactly.
watching the videos.
But the problem is, like, if like starting drivers like me, if we were not actually watching the videos on YouTube, we don't know who is out there, what is their style of teaching. Most of the beginners like me, we begin with Google, open it, search driving instructors in Derby. Unfortunate thing is, like, it will start showing some of the driving schools which are not very good in the beginning.
Yeah, it certainly does.
For whatever reason, the ratings for those schools are very good. I would say, like, anywhere rated between 7.8 to 4.7 to 4.9 out of 5.
Yeah.
So we believe, like, okay, if this is the rating for this school, maybe it's good to go. And the cost also, like, looks reasonable, like £23, £24, and you think, okay, this is the best, and you go with them. Only after spending some time you realize, okay, this is not good.
Yeah.
And if you're actually watching some other videos, and if you know the other styles of teaching, then you'll understand, okay, this is not the best.
Good. So
the best, sorry,
no, go on.
The best tip is don't go with the reviews which are in the Google. It's better either we go by the word of mouth from friends or something like that, or if they are in Derby, maybe better call you, I would say. Because
I think just do deep investigation. Make sure the reviews on Google match up with the reviews on the website. Make sure they match up with all the social media platforms, Twitter, Google Plus, Google Local.
Yeah.
And bring it all together, and of course speak to the person. I think.
Another thing,
see where they answer the phone first time. If not, do they get back to you promptly? Do they address your concerns? Do they have an interest in you and how does they help you? And you know, you get a feel, don't you? But certainly don't. My top tip is don't buy on price.
And the other tip is if someone has already joined any driving school, the first thing they should ask for is if they are approved instructors.
Because you had your doubts, didn't you?
Yeah, I never asked, so I didn't know if.
And they never showed it you?
No, they didn't say anything about it. I never knew like there is such thing as like this, something like approved or not approved.
And just to be clear, I'm just getting mine from the corner here. The badge we're referring to is this one. It just means that I'm a fully qualified instructor. Yeah. So, yeah.
So it's better they check if the instructor is qualified and approved before training with them.
Cool. All right. Good. One more question for you. Where's your Christmas jumper?
Sorry, I don't have one Christmas jumper.
Maybe tomorrow, eh?
Yeah.
Maybe next year. All right then. Yeah. So the goal for today then?
It's like normal driving, usual, along with a maneuver, either bay parking or parking on the right hand side of the road.
Okay. Normal driving, bay parking, pulling up on the right.
Oh no, any of the maneuvers, like whatever is feasible for us.
Okay.
Either bay parking or either pulling up on the right and then rejoining the traffic. Yeah.
Okie dokie. Let's start with pulling up on the right then, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Now I'll only choose roads that are appropriate to do that, and it's your judgment then as to whether you decide to cross that path and enter the wrong side of the road or not. If it wasn't safe to, what would you do? Would you just drive across even though it was an oncoming car, or would you? What
we just carry on? Cancel the signal and carry on if it's not safe.
Could carry on?
Yeah.
God, look at the sun behind that, look. That's weird, isn't it?
Very much.
That is really strange.
Like a moon.
It does look like a moon. Wow. That is strange. Anyway, let's not go down that route. But you might need to pull up on that road for whatever reason, so you would hold back a left of centre line position.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, to turn into that. Yeah.
That's it. But you just But we'll analyse it when we do it. I'm guessing, if I ask you to pull in, that's sort of what you do anyway. So we'll analyse it when we do it. Driving, anything you want me to keep my eye on? Anything you want me to help you with?
I don't think so.
And at the end of the lesson with your driving, what's your aim? Where do you need to be?
Like completely confident with my general driving.
Okay, yeah.
Because we've been doing it for past maybe 4 or 5 lessons. 4 or 5
lessons.
Slowly we are progressing with the general driving.
Yes, with less and less help.
Yeah.
Input. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's the aim. I won't intervene unless I need to. Can look at the clock, pulling up on the right, so we could try and get a mixture of roundabouts, carriageways, lane changes, all those sort of systems and things.
Yeah.
I think that's it, isn't it? Yeah. Job done. Right. So when you're ready, we'll drive on.
Okay.
At the end of the road, we'll turn left, please. tell me about that turn you did just then?
You should have followed the curb more closely.
And any ideas why you didn't?
I was looking at the traffic towards my right hand side more.
Okay. So in order to follow the curb, if I was your learner, what would you tell me to do? If I approach there, what would you tell me to do so I can stick with the curb?
Quick glances, like keep changing views, like don't look to the right for a long time.
Yep, good. So you won't know where you're driving, will you, if you're looking to the right, and it'll throw off your position. Would you say you got back under control just in time?
Yeah.
If there'd have been an oncoming vehicle in the other oncoming lane? Because that's the consequence, isn't it? You're going to go in, wide before you come into your own road. Is the traffic building up all the way down the road, or is it just something here waiting to turn or something?
I think they are waiting to turn. Not sure what's happening with the vehicle.
Is it the lorry giving way, or?
It doesn't look like that.
Maybe unsure about where he's going. Try and stay on the balancing point while you're waiting. Do you know what I mean by the balancing point?
Yeah.
You know, like you did initially? And then you went onto the foot brake? Well, if you know you're going to be going after that car, just stay on the balancing point. Ready to go then, aren't you? As soon as it's gone. You can be rolling as it's passing as well and stuff. Just follow the road ahead, please. Any issues last lesson that we should be aware of, or anything that's worth bearing in mind? Don't want to dwell on things too much. I know we analyse things as we go through.
The only important point was like I was hesitating a little bit when overtaking, like whether to move into the right hand lane.
In what scenario, sorry?
While overtaking, I was hesitating a bit to move into the right hand side lane. There was some hesitation, so.
Okay, and what was our conclusion? You can answer in a minute if you want. Just keep following it ahead.
Conclusion was, if we wait for so long, the vehicles behind might think like I'm not actually overtaking or moving into the right hand side lane, and they might come in next to us, which could be a danger.
Okay. So you're going to keep your speed next time, and you're going to act sooner. Straight ahead at the next mini roundabout. At the end of the road, turn left, please. So which other way are you going to be looking? That's the one. So you've been looking right for quite a bit. Too long then, potentially. So yeah, you was just looking rather than glancing, like you described to me.
Yeah.
Do you want any reminders to glance, or do you think? How do you feel you'll get on with that going forward? Because we could could have affected road position on that if we weren't careful. The curb didn't really sweep away though, so it was quite lucky on that.
I'll try to remember.
Okay. I can just remind you on the approach rather than actually when you should be doing it as like a little prompt. But so what do you think about that? Do you know why it stalled?
Yeah, it's because I didn't release the brake pedal while I was releasing the clutch. I think the brake was still pressed.
Yeah. You know, because you didn't come off your brake early enough, what pedal weren't you on then when you was operating the clutch uphill? As you come off the brake and you go to the
Accelerator.
yeah, and to hold yourself at least holding biting point and then driving biting point to get going without stalling on an uphill, you're going to need gas on before you get to your
The clutch, releasing the clutch.
the bite point. Yeah. So what's the conclusion? What are you going to do differently in that situation next time, do you think?
Give a little bit of gas along with releasing the clutch.
Yeah, in your head though, have it earlier. Gas, then we're going to do the clutch stuff. So off the brake much earlier, gas on, then get to bite. You got that? Let me know if I can help you with that going forward. I won't remind you with the junctions to look left and right as you said. We'll give you we'll have another try with that. If not, I'll give you a prompt.
Yeah.
So if the red car wanted to turn in and park for the Astra plug here, for Astra double glazing, Derby double glazing, there's a plug here. But if somebody wanted to turn in, what have you done there? Or turn out so they could want to turn right down there?
I'm blowing their way.
Yeah. Any reason why you did that? Are you aware you did that? Was doing it? Obviously you're aware now.
I saw and I thought like it's not a main road, so I thought maybe it's okay to carry on.
Think about access. Don't think about main roads. I mean, do, because it could be part of you. The conclusion that you reach. Just thought I saw Jay the Snake Roberts in that Mercedes van then. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well spotted. Have we done that before?
I think we came down this road sometime.
So why could she end up with a fine in this Astra?
She just moved into that.
She's just drove all the way through the bus lane, hasn't she?
Yeah.
So unless it's out of times of operation, most of them are cameraed these days. So what you're going to do here, is she going to go first? Are we going to go first? Whose lane merges?
Our lane merges.
So who's going to go first, you think? Who got here first as well?
They are going to go first, and then we'll move into this place.
So just one for in future, what I'd have done if I were you, with my positioning, I'd have held back probably my level halfway with her car, so there's no confusion from her part. She knows she's going to go first, we're going to filter in behind. Because also to the car behind her now, they might think, I don't know if Sharon's going to go first, or the woman in the Astra here is going to go first. So make everything clear with your actions. Not doing very well for traffic so far, are we?
Do I have to signal here? Because
you don't have to, but I mean, it's communicating with others, isn't it? So if you feel it's beneficial to alert others sooner, then it's not going to be a bad idea, to be fair. So what we got in front then with these roadworks? Does the road ahead is the road ahead anymore, or is it what we got?
It looks like we'll have to move to the right hand side and then take the black car.
Right, so that's good. So we've already worked it out before we get there. This is where so many people go wrong. They get there, then think, oh dear, where am I going? We've done a lot of work on identifying road signs recently, haven't we? Particularly with those blue circles. Can help you out no end if you know, obviously, what to look for. Fair enough. And that's another thing, you know. So you was on about poor training. She could have passed the test with minimal hours. It is possible, driving through bus lanes and not even realising. It's possible, though, isn't it? It's, you know, these things they do happen. So let's just recap. What are the things that you're looking at to improve today, based on our drive already? What are we looking out for? Just bullet point form.
At the junctions, no staying at one side for long.
Yep.
And then no stalling on hill roads.
So we're going to do what sooner?
A bit of acceleration.
Turn right at the roundabout, by the way. Good. Yeah. What have you learnt about access?
If there is a driveway, we will have to keep it free if we are stopping.
Yeah. Less of a thing with driveways unless you feel there's a reason. But I think with a business premises like that, you could have staff coming in and out, you could have customers coming in and out. It's more likely that things are going to be coming in and out, you know? That double glazing place. So it's the third exit here.
We're taking that road.
Yep, and then we're going to keep following the road ahead then. There'll be a roundabout as we go down. And we're going to keep following the road ahead. Look at floor markings to see if you are okay in whatever lane you're in, yeah? So if you need to make adjustments. Best advice I could give you, just keep looking at, obviously as we have been doing, keep looking at the floor markings and road signs. I don't think we've been this route before, everywhere we turn right here.
I think we did came around on this road, but we took left here.
Okay. Behind us.
Yeah.
So when you spotted the Land Rover behind us, did you just ease off them brakes and roll for a bit longer because you could see how close that was? So would you say it is beneficial having a mirror check during the slowing as well as before? I'm not sure whether you did one before. Steer right, steer right. There was a car right at the side of us there. Keep looking at the floor markings, look forward. So you can go ahead in this lane, yeah? Just exit in this lane. That's good there, yeah, spotted that, dealt with it safely. Lane opens up, remain in the right. Has it opened up? Yeah. What's happened to it?
Split into two.
That's it. So as the lead car there, we choose which one we're going, don't we? That makes sense. there anything I've missed? Anything we've not been over? Can you hear anything? Can you see anything in your mirrors? I can hear sirens. Do you see anything in any of the mirrors? Any reflections? Any blue lights?
No.
Turned off now, aren't they? But sometimes they do that in traffic. It's not to spook drivers, I think. You know, it's not to frighten anybody. So we're heading towards Pride Park now. Okay.
Okay.
You can see. Are we in the correct lane from the floor markings?
Yeah.
Right.
6 Pride Park.
Before we slow, anything close behind us?
Yes.
Very close, yeah.
Very close.
So I think, is it fair to say you could do with checking their mirrors a bit earlier before you slow?
Please, yeah.
Check again on the car behind, just update. And just follow the road ahead now. Good job with your speed limit there. Despite pressure from the van behind and the cars in front leaving us, so very, very good. How did you know it was 30 anyway? Most people get it wrong though.
It's a city, so there are street lights, but without any specific speed limit. So it should be
30. Have you, what do you know about the driver behind? I'm going to turn left, by the way, at the roundabout.
He's trying to get into the...
He's very, very, very eager, isn't he?
Yeah.
Very eager, very close. So everything we'll do will be so subtle and gentle. What do you think the driver behind's likely to do? Don't want to put you off what you're doing, but I want to make you aware, maybe a little bit more than you are. What could be coming? He was that type of driver. He's turned off now, hasn't he? He was that type of driver. His hands was up in the air because he was doing the speed limit. Just before he turned right, just for the sake of the camera as well, he sped up, so he was tailgating, and then turned, which made no sense. Straight ahead at the roundabout. So what are you checking before you change speed? Right, that's definitely something we need to work on, isn't it? Forward. And then turn left for Pride Park, please. Turn, well, it's left only, it tells us here, so that's what we're going to have to do. But then the arrow here says ahead, so follow this round, pop a right signal on, follow this round, check your right mirror, make sure nothing on the inside, look here as well, make sure there's nothing coming through, yeah, just to be absolutely clear. It's now going all the way around the car park just for us to pull in. I want you to pull into a bay. I know we've not covered it yet, but don't worry too much about where it lands. Slow it right down, first gear, just pull forwards into a bay. Slow it right down here, right down, first gear. So we've got them girls in front of us anyway, so.
Can we just...
Yeah. Don't worry if you land in the bay in front, we're going to cover, well, I know we've not done parking yet in bays, we'll cover that. That's it. Use the next one if you need to get into it. That's it. That'll do us. All right. Let's have a quick talk then about. Well, let's just have a quick catch up. How do you feel things are going?
observations in the rear mirror while slowing down in the traffic mostly, and at the junctions I'll have to keep watching both sides.
Yeah, that roundabout then, did you notice anything with your observations that nearly developed but didn't?
Not actually.
You're just looking right for half a second too long, and you're positioning just as because as you enter roundabouts they curve, and the closer you get to the inside of the roundabout they curve even more, because that left curve goes like that.
Okay.
So you started, as that curved, you just stayed straight because you were looking right. Keep a bit quicker with the obs, so that you just follow it. It didn't, nothing happened, but I can see a potential for it to develop there, and it just ties into the T-junction stuff as well.
Okay.
So practice that skill. Keep looking everywhere where you need to look, where you're going, and also can we cross traffic or join traffic, depending on where we're going.
Okay.
So if I was your, I don't know why I keep saying this today, but I'm going to go with it. If I was your learner driver and I weren't checking my mirror before I slowed down, what would you tell me? Why would you say, Matt, you need to check your mirrors before you slow down? What reason would you give me for that?
Because if we don't know how close the vehicle is behind, and if you slam the brakes hard, they might end up in the rear.
Yeah.
So we don't want to do that. So if they are very close, and if you know that we are going to brake, maybe we can give an early signal by like starting to press the brake pedal, but not too much, so they know that we are going to stop soon, and then slowly brake and progressively.
Fantastic. Which when so we check the mirrors, we see that, and we see we've got a tailgater. We start braking the way that you said, tactically, giving them more time to react, get their head up from whatever they're doing or whatever distraction, and then so there's the slowing down bit. How are we going to slow down? And then there's the how are we going to stop? Where are we going to stop? Do we need to pinch that extra foot to get all the way to the line at the traffic light, to give them a little bit more time and ease off the brakes before we do? Which we did earlier with that Range Rover. Do you remember when in town at that just after that roundabout? So have a series of checks during, but don't. What do you think's key in checking the mirror before you slow down then? Because if you think about it, once you know you're already slowing, you can only brake in a fixed way anyway. There is no option. So how are we gonna get this earlier?
So once we know like we are going to brake, first we'll have to do the observation and then start braking. Before checking the mirror, before we actually press the brake pedal.
That's it. And what clues are you gonna? Because normally when I'm driving, I'm braking and the car in front ain't even eased off the gas yet. I already know what it's gonna do, but I've processed it and it hasn't yet.
So we can look at the traffic ahead to see if their brake lights are on.
Fantastic.
Try to identify if they are braking or actually slowly moving. And then react accordingly.
Yeah, good. So look for clues, brake lights, traffic lights. If the traffic light's been on green for ages,
you'll have to slowly approach it.
Probably going to change. Particularly if somebody's there pressing the button. So just things like that. So I think that's that's okay there. You've got an understanding of that. What do you want to do about it? Do you want me to help you to anticipate slowing down before you slow down, or do you want to do that yourself, based on this conversation?
Maybe you can help me initially.
All right, that's what we'll do.
And then I'll try to do it on my own as we progress.
Okay. The key thing that I'm going to be doing is anticipating, and that's it really. So from the anticipation, we'll get early information in the mirrors, and then if we do slow down, we do. If we don't, so be it. But at least we're ready for in case we need to slow down. Okay. So what we got then? Looking right and left at junctions a bit more, leaving exits open for access. I think that was it, wasn't it? Is that?
And in the traffic, like observe the vehicles behind and understand how close they are before braking.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right. So let's get back on the road if you're all right with that. So what system does the car park have then? Which way are you going to be going out of here?
This is the way to go out, but I'm trying to identify the exit. There's no board, I believe.
There isn't anything that says exit, is there? I suppose we have to remember the direction we came in, which was, yeah.
We came this way, and this road points to that side, so I believe it should be somewhere there.
That's it. The reason I'm just bringing that to your attention, and we'll talk about it more when we do the Bay Park, is a lot of car parks are one ways, and
yeah.
Is this road one way here?
It is.
Yeah. Don't know why we've got BBC Leicester on, do you? We're in Derby. There we go. Plug for BBC Radio Derby there. Bullshit corporation. So let's turn left at the end. So what happened on that junction then? The next roundabout, where I want you to take the second exit, please, at the next roundabout. Don't forget to be looking both ways. Left. Too long, that last bit, yeah?
Yeah.
Just losing it. It's a good job you look back in time and are able to whip that steering wheel back round, which you wouldn't be able to if it was icy or something, because you could skid if you whipped it too quick. So it's that last little bit, isn't it, on your roundabouts you've got to be aware of. So don't turn your head as much, do it more with your eyes. You know, quick glancing. Almost like you've got one eye on one and one eye on the other. We're going to turn left at the next roundabout. So, we're going to be braking in a minute, there's traffic backing up, so check the mirror, and the car behind's closed, so we know that already. We're not expecting these to go, so another check, and give an early, but you already are, that's great, good. So we're controlling the car behind already. And then check again, because we're going to be stopping at the first white line here, see what I mean? So it's factoring that in as well. Since then, the cars have moved, so I guess after they move again, it'll be worth. That was weird earlier, weren't it? The sun looked completely white, but dead,
cloudy today.
but really prominent.
You're turning left here.
That's good. So we stuck with the curb lovely there. So what are you anticipating here? I can see brake lights from the bus. There's going to be brake lights on that cement mixer as well, or that, whatever it is, for your truck. So I'd be checking the mirrors now, just updating, seeing what the behaviour of the car behind's like, the positioning, the closeness. Ease off now, check the mirror, see how that's going to affect, because look, all these are going to bunch up and they're all going to brake in a minute. The lights could change, I can't see because there's a bus there. Whether anybody's pressed a button is what I mean. The bus has stopped at the bus stop, so I'd be in the mirror again, and it'd also be in the right mirror, because if that bus stays on the left, I'm going to be going right, so I'd be clued up early. The bus could pull in, so I'd check the left mirror, pull out to me, and then I'd check the right mirror again, stay position. Preparing for all possibilities. Somebody's flashed, so someone could charge you through. Just see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that anticipation that's going to get you in your mirrors before the hazard develops into a full-blown risk. So well done, yeah. What's the next thing I would check my mirrors for down here? Obviously I'll be keeping up to date generally, yeah, for the brake lights. Go on, you was going to say, what's the next thing you check your mirrors for down here?
Yeah, I went to looking for brake light because there is no signal or anything. So if they stop for whatever reason, I'll have to assess how close the car behind is.
Yeah. Oh, and Sharon, what's your other top tip for learner drivers as well? Something to do with food items.
So I had this problem, like lack of focus or concentration, I'm not sure what to call it, but what happens sometimes is I'll be staring just in the front instead of observing everywhere, and it might be possible, like after doing a roundabout or something where things don't go the way we expect them to go, we'd be just lost in those thoughts. Okay, I used to think, why did I do that? Instead of focusing on what's in front of me, I'd be thinking, oh, what did I do wrong in that junction or in that roundabout? And so I used to actually mess up what's in front right now, thinking about something which happened some moment back. And I then just searched in the internet, how can I avoid doing this again and again. And one of the tips was to chew bubble gum, so that your brain is always active and focused on what's happening right now, instead of being lost in the thoughts.
Yeah.
And I think it helped me.
Yeah, I've read that before, and I've actually it keeps it stimulated because of the chewing. I think I've done it before. I've always performed well when chewing gum. I don't do it as much anymore.
Okay.
I'm just not sure about. Well, I won't go into that. Or yeah, I don't do it as much anymore. But so good job of keeping the access clear. If the car in front's still rolling though, and there's enough room for you to plonk your car after the junction, what should you do?
We'll have to move into that space if there is any space.
Keep rolling. Well done. And how is it developing behind as you're slowing?
Just staying far away. I think the car is not very close.
What about now? That was a bit of an awkward situation there. What do you know about that? Okay, forget I asked that because you need to concentrate here. I want you to turn left at the roundabout, please.
Turn right?
Left at the roundabout, please. First exit. You can block a junction if you're rolling, if you know that by keeping rolling you'll clear it, yeah? So you don't want to be holding back too early either. It's good there. Yeah, because if you stop before a junction and the car thinks it's clear after the junction, but you stop, it could go in the back, couldn't they? So I guess it's just that fine line, really, of being reasonable. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you block a little bit of it either, you know. You know, if the bonnet's like that much, it often doesn't matter. Cars will still get in and out, really. come in time. That's why you're allowed 15 driver errors on your test, you know, because it's not going to be perfect. Just follow it ahead. Yeah, keep going ahead. Look at the road ahead before you signal. Try not to think, oh, roundabout, I always signal. Look at the road and see how it would benefit others if you did. Would that be beneficial, that signal there?
Because it's just one road.
It's just a road, isn't it, really? Yeah. Yet on the approach, it very much looks like a roundabout. On your mirror work really, and you know what's behind and dangers and that was really good how you looked on that one. That clearly was that's what you set out to do, wasn't it, there? To make a difference. What did you do differently then? Yeah, I could see it. It was like you let the eyes that was nearest me didn't go off the forward, it seemed like. So it was, I think it's like you're not turning your head as much. But it clearly works. It was a lovely approach. That car that was opposite you coming down there. No, they had their headlights on, main beam, full beam. The little granny car, I shouldn't say that. Little one of them little cars coming down the road, and it's just had its main beams on. But you just spotted that because they're really bright, they can put you off. I'd like to take the next road on the right, please. So check that mirror early. You didn't check your centre before you signalled then, did you? Let's get into that box. Okay, stop there. Okay, we'll need to get back into the road now and join traffic. You've missed your turn really, and that's a real awkward one to do. So you want... So let's take the next road on the left, and we'll just have a quick chat about that in a moment. So centre mirror, early, there, left door mirror, early. You want to get them well before you signal. The signal can come 3-4 seconds after that, that's fine. It doesn't have to be together. A lot of people put them together in brackets. What do you think you should have done there? Even though I was talking to you, but I needed to be. Yeah. You should have stopped earlier, much earlier. And next road on the right. right, not left. Steer right, more, faster, bigger, there, and then straighten. Do you know why I was saying that? That's enough, that's fine. It's still getting quite close, that is. If you edged any more, you'd need to steer right. When you look at the curb in front of us, where does it go?
It's going and then
Curves outwards, doesn't it? Yeah. Which way was you steering?
Into it.
Inwards. So you're going to hit it much earlier or quicker than you would usually because of that. Had you recognised that what I've just said before you come in and thought about what you need to do with steering?
No, actually I was thinking whether should I stop here or not, because it's just after the turn.
Okay, now with things like that you need to know your highway code stuff so that you know what to do and what not to do, really.
Okay.
How many metres should it be from the end of this road?
10 metres?
10 metres, and that's a minimum. If we're more, that's better, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, do you know where a metre is, roughly?
Yeah, from that beginning of the windscreen to
yeah, something like that, just under 4 foot. Yeah. So if you look over your shoulder, don't worry, or in your mirror, would you say that we are more than 10 metres from the end of the road?
Looks like, yep.
I'd say we're about 20.
Okay.
I think 10 metres is where, you see where they've put the solid yellow line? They normally put the lines there in the right place on some of them. Sometimes it'll be a double that goes around the curb, but it's a single there.
Yep.
So anywhere after that, but of course if you can get further this way, the better to make the junction safer.
Yeah.
So I hope that helps.
Yes, it does.
Just didn't want you to scrape the. I know I've got the protectors on, and if anybody's wondering who's watching the video about the protectors, I've made a video on that. It's called a video on alloy gaiters, but. Anyway, that's that. Let's talk about the right turn on the main road. What was the first thing that you didn't do?
I didn't identify the exit.
Yeah. Didn't check. I mean, then I started guiding you on the mirrors because you didn't seem like you was responding as much as you could be. How are you going to identify a turn early?
Curb. You can see a curb just turning into the road.
What else?
Not sure. Road markings.
Yeah. What colour?
White.
White. Could be faded, but look for something white. What else? Do you want me to name a few?
Yeah.
Well, definitely brakes in the houses.
Okay.
Houses at an angle as they follow the pavement in, because it curves inwards. Most of the time you'll have a street light, a lamppost opposite a junction. You see that junction there? Do you see that street light opposite it?
Yeah.
That's how it lights up the junction at night. It's not always, but most junctions will have that.
Okay.
So all these things need to be at the tip of your thought processes and think, scanning, yeah, right, there's the junction. What do you think about your mirrors coming in?
Not very well as expected. Maybe.
I think as soon as you get the instruction, if I say next road on the right, first thing should be centre right mirror. Get them checked, and then you know what's behind you. Next thing is identifying where the turn is, and then you already know what's behind you and how close. Then you can deal with that. Don't wait till you know where the turn is, then start slowing down and checking the mirrors while you're slowing down. It's not really going to make much difference. I guess the right one would, because you're going to know whether to steer into that right turn box or not.
Yeah.
So getting the mirrors earlier. I did say I was going to remind you.
Yeah.
And I sort of haven't as well with that. I think it's because sort of half of it was you was sort of starting to do it yourself. What should I do in terms of that? Should I tell you when I would check them, or do you want to see how you get on with it?
Maybe I'll see how I get on with it.
Right.
I don't remember that.
Okay. What I want from you then, if it's okay, because this will really help me to help you. Can you tell me what mirrors you're checking? Every mirror check you do. Would you mind doing that?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah?
Yep.
So I know what you're thinking. If you can, tell me what you see in terms of, just say, oh, I'm checking centre right because there's a car close behind, or I'm checking centre right, there's a car's a good distance behind.
Okay.
Nothing on the side before a position. This, you know, left door mirrors clear, position, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Now, you'd already identified the junction, coming down the hill to turn right. I think I helped you to identify it after a bit. Why didn't you then get yourself into that right turn box? Or had you still not identified it at that point? Or am I just...
I think I was confused with the junction there. If you remember, there was some island there with one road coming from that side and one road coming from this side.
Yeah.
I thought maybe this road is for only vehicles going taking left turn on that particular road, and maybe the next one is actually for me to take the right turn.
Okay.
That is what my assumption was, but finally when I ended up there, it's not the actual road to take.
If it was what you've just said, just, if you could, as long as I don't take too long doing this. Taking way too long doing this. Just point to the signs you'd see if it was one way, like you say, because that's the thing, wasn't it? You didn't know whether you could turn into there once you did see it. Is that what you just said?
What I mentioned was, like, I was confused with the roads. If it was just one road, obviously we would have taken that turn, but there were like we were here on this side, and there is a small road like this, and another road like this, and there is a small island, I believe.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, maybe this is only for vehicles taking left turn, and that is for actually vehicles going to. Oh, okay, so that will be a one way in that case. It should be a one way.
It's not though. If it was one way, if it was one way, you would see. Well, if you couldn't turn into it, the first one, you'd see one of them.
Stop sign, no entry.
No entry. On the other side, if it was one way and you're the only one, and it's the turn for you to take, like we did last lesson, you'd see that, you'd see these. So do look out for these. Again, it's your clues, isn't it? It's your recognition on the approach. All right. So yeah, just got to be a bit earlier, really, spotting. Get speed down if you're unsure, but if you are hesitating, do get yourself into the box. The reason that the junctions, like you said, it's called a Y junction. Have we talked about this before?
Don't think so.
Let me see if we can get a quick picture. There you go. So it's something like that. So you're coming down Y-shaped junctions, yeah? So you're coming. So we was coming off the main road, and we could turn. So here's that bit, that island you was talking about, yeah?
Yeah.
We could turn in here, and then there'll be a junction here where we could turn onto this road and follow it up, yeah? Okay. Because of the way that the junction's shaped, this is why I got you to drive on. It would have been really awkward to, without cutting the corner, and I think there was a bollard there, plus it would have confused traffic. There's nothing saying that you can't do it, but it's better to take the other turn because it flows better. There's quite a few junctions set out like that, and it's to do with, I believe it's to do with keeping traffic flowing and helping people to have better visibility. So if you was coming down and emerging from a Y junction, your visibility would be obscured to the left, So what you'd do is you'd position your car just to get to the end and put loads of steer on and make it into a T. I know that's not what we was doing, but these are all effects of these type of junctions. So yeah, I think that's about it really. Yeah, so what you need to do is identify, oh, it's a Y junction, but it's not really a Y junction from where we was taking it, but that's why it was laid out the way it was laid out. I hope that helps without going on too long.
It helps,
yeah. And then when we turned into the next road on the left, I said, oh, you should have held that much earlier than that. What happened there?
I assumed the car would slow down, but he slowly approached us because the car was actually parked on the other side, and this car came into the road. He slowed down, but he didn't completely stop. He kept on moving so that everything came one next to each other, and it was very tight.
That's right. Yeah. Whose priority was it?
It's our priority, but yeah.
And who was more established in the road in terms of speed?
The other guy, maybe he's coming from the other side.
Yeah. So even though sometimes the priorities are such, you've got to think, well, what's the best outcome here based on the traffic conditions? And at that point, we've just become part of the road in terms of that guy. He's been looking down the road and he's established and he's doing quicker than. So you want to be acting sooner, thinking it's not really convenient for that driver to stop. It's more convenient for me to slow down for it to get past. Extra danger that there could be something behind off the junction, which was quite blind. But I think we was able to stop and not be too close to the junction either, and also not too close to them parked cars on the right. We all got through, but it was a bit of a breathe-in moment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, anything I can help you with in terms of what we've just talked over there, going forward?
No.
And just to be clear, what am I helping you with the rest?
Mirrors.
Yeah. So, checking mirrors before slowing down. And anything else? You're good with the rest, yeah? All right, then drive them when you're ready. And we will do some pulling up on the right. I think it would have made sense for that driver to carry on.
Yeah.
You know. Because what was the problem with where they decided to stop?
They're already very near to the car.
Whose priority was it?
His priority.
Was it?
Because we have parked vehicles on this side as well.
Yeah, and he had one on his side, so nobody's priority.
Yeah.
Really. At the end of the road, turn left, please. So centre, well done. I should have been a bit early with my guidance there. So what could she do?
Walk over.
Cross without checking, or who? It's always a strange one, that one, you know. When old people do that, when they don't even look at all, yet there's an oncoming vehicle.
Yeah.
So what signal do we need? Because there's loads of things that could happen here. There's a junction opposite, we've got people. to the back tyre just drop off.
Yeah.
So what would you do differently then? So it was I mean, in fairness to you, it was a really sharp bend. Take the next road on the right, by the way. We'll get back to this question in a bit. Check your mirror again, your centre, just to see how things are developing.
Yeah.
As you're slowing. Check your right mirror just before you go. Good. Now in the new road, check your centre again. Did anything follow you in?
Something is following up.
Okay, good. Remember, keep me up to date, yeah? What do you think about the green car that approached? It was a bit quick, wasn't it? The conditions. Pull up on the right at a safe place, please, on the right. Thank you very much. Right, have we done this before?
No.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to analyse before we talk about this? Back up the junctions and stuff back there?
No. So what do you think, like, when the green car came, the distance from the car which was parked in front of us, was it okay, or
yeah, I think you needed to do. I think you did what you needed to do there. With that going so fast, she was braking, but if she just let off and decided to go, she'd have still been going quite quick. Which sometimes I do that. I start braking and I think, oh, actually they pulled in off the brake. Let's go. She still slowed anyway. No, I thought it was all fine, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. Pulling in on the right then. How did that feel? All good with that?
Yeah, I've identified the place to park, and there's nothing coming on this side, so
yeah.
I just gave the right hand signal and moved.
Yeah, I agree. This is exactly where I would have pulled in if I was pulling in on the right as well.
Okay.
What about if there was? So I thought signal time was okay to pull in on the right. What about if there was a car at the junction? Would you have done anything differently with the signal?
Maybe I would have signaled after the junction, like after the...
Yeah, could have done. And if there was a car oncoming, what would you have done?
Maybe I would have moved to the center of the lane, but not crossing the lane.
Yeah.
And stop there.
Okay, good.
And if it is extremely difficult to do that, maybe I would just cancel the signal and carry on. I mean, it depends on
there
are many cars, or I mean, it depends. For example, if this is my house and if I have to stop here, I have to stop the traffic behind. It depends on the priority.
And are we 10 metres from the junction behind? Are you happy with that? I mean, we said it's a good parking place, but I mean, just bringing that back in.
Yeah.
Happy with the bend in front? We're not going to be too dangerous with that. Good. And moving off, do you think you'd give a signal to move off and join your lane again?
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it going to take longer, or is it going to be the same? Getting across.
It takes a little bit of time if there is traffic.
So what would you? Yeah. So what would you do? So how would you build that in? You'd said traffic behind. It takes longer to get over. What do you need to be aware of when you move off here? In terms of time.
So we don't signal initially. We'll wait for that space.
Yeah.
And when we see that space, signal on and move on. Of course, we'll have to see for vehicles if any vehicle is coming from the front.
Yes.
and then move on. Yeah.
So whatever you do, don't get fixed in this mirror or this shoulder or in this mirror. It's got to be, eyes forward as much as anything.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Should have turned the Bluetooth off. So that's fine. Signal. Do have another check as you go across as well. So I think because of the extra time involved, you need to have another shoulder check before we sort of cross over. That's about it really. So let's do the 2-car reverse thing next, because they're going to ask you to do that on your test if you do this. So when wouldn't you reverse back 2-car lengths? What would stop you from doing so?
Yeah, like in the place where we are now, if there's a junction close, maybe we should not do that.
Okay, you're not parking though, so it's not classed as parking within 10 metres of. You're just sort of reversing back and then you're going to be going.
Yeah.
What about if there's a car at that junction that could be turning out as you're reversing towards it? For example, what would you do? What would be the safest thing to do? Safest thing to do would be to stop.
Yeah.
Let it get on with what it's doing. Because we're the one manoeuvring, reversing, you know. If there's a car oncoming, would it be safe to keep reversing? If you start reversing, their car whips round the corner, would it be safe for us to keep travelling backwards slowly?
No.
Why not? How would that impact?
Because we'll be moving that point where they have to move into that lane.
Yeah.
So if they move early and we keep moving that point back and back, it would get difficult for them.
Yeah, that's right. They're going to misjudge that, aren't they? Yeah, absolutely. Good. And let's just make sure there's no misunderstandings here as well. Why would you reverse back 2-car lengths? Of course, it's pointless for us today. There's nothing here. But why would it be beneficial if you're on this side of the road to reverse back 2-car lengths?
I believe the whole thing is to have a clear view of the road in front to see that the vehicles coming. If, for example, if there is any vehicle parked in front, moving behind, we can see the road ahead and clearly see what vehicles are coming. It would give us a better view of the road ahead.
Good stuff. Yeah. Okay. Alright, I think that's about it really. We'll talk more about the laws and stuff involved as we go through, rather than cram everything in all at once. So we want to get driving again, don't we? So is that, are you happy with that? Anything else you want to go over there with that, or?
No, I'm okay.
Alright, do you want guidance with moving off, or do you want to give it a go and analyse it after?
I'll try to give it a go.
Alright.
But if I'm doing something wrong, please.
I absolutely will. Alright, so when you're ready, reverse back 2-car lengths in a straight line. That'd be great, thanks there. That'll be great, thank you very much. Cheers. And drive on when you're ready. You alright with that then? Loads to it, is there?
Because not many cars on this, but if there's a lot of traffic,
it could be more complex.
But more it is giving.
At the end of the road, turn right, please. So keep me posted on traffic around us and stuff when you're ready.
There's a car behind us.
What do you reckon about that, Gav?
I could have moved.
Why didn't you, do you think?
I didn't judge the speed properly of the car which is coming.
straight ahead at the mini roundabout. Anything behind you? Nothing. Keep going. Was you going to stop there? It looked like you was.
Yeah, I was slowed down. I wasn't sure whether the bus was like completely coming into it or... Yeah.
Did you think about priorities on approach too?
Yeah.
Did you think who's on who's right?
Mm-hmm.
So who was on who's right?
We are on the right side of the bus.
Yeah. It's getting that confidence, I think, to just stay that bit quicker, knowing that the bus will stop. But you don't know the bus is going to stop. So half of me there saying don't hesitate, but the other half saying, well, yeah, I don't blame you for slowing. It's I guess it's just making you aware of both sides of it. So I wouldn't have been very good for the bus to wait there, because obviously it was the Audi's priority.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you don't need to answer that one. But I'm just relating it to, you know,
yeah.
what we was on about earlier. Cyclist then, he got a young lad on his handlebars, he was on the road, and the other hand he was holding his phone to his ear. Did you see that lad on the bike?
No, I didn't observe it.
Dangerous stuff.
Yeah,
if that was my son on his handlebars, I'd be frightened to death.
I've seen the other day, like maybe a few days back.
I'm going to turn left, sorry, by the way, at the lights. Right. Keep me posted with your mirrors. Go on, you were saying?
At one of the junctions, a guy who was, I think he was drunk. Of course he was drunk, right? And the lights were saying like red for the pedestrians and green for the vehicles. And the car in front started moving, and he suddenly jumped into the road.
Yeah.
And he was like doing some weird sounds to the like driver in the car.
Yeah.
Like they slammed the brake and they had to stop. Like they had to stop in a weird position on the road.
When you say weird sounds, was that swearing sounds?
No, he was.
What, mimicking
I think he was singing some song, I believe. I didn't understand what he was actually saying.
But he was wrong. He got it wrong. Oh God. That's the trouble, isn't it? Unless you really know your stuff, you're best to just keep your mouth shut. Sometimes.
And the driver in the car, he didn't honk actually. Like, if I was there, I would have honked at least to scare away the guy.
Here's that junction again, look.
Yeah.
So you just meant to come in here, turn there, and turn again. There's a little junction up on the inside. Yeah, it's always interesting, isn't it, on the road. It's always something that's going to develop. Remember when we saw that drunk person walking with that woman before? And yeah. That guy was ready to start trouble, weren't he? If somebody would have played his game. All it normally takes is eye contact, really.
Yeah.
If somebody's, you know, that way natured and drunk as well. Sorry, just to be clear, did you say to me you wanted me to tell you when to check your mirrors? Because I've been asking you to tell me what you're seeing.
Sorry, yeah.
Just to be clear, what do you want? What's best for you? Just so we...
I will speak out like what I'm observing in the mirrors.
Yeah, keep telling me then. Every mirror check you do, I want to know that you've checked it.
Okay.
And I want to know, if you got time, whether there's nothing, something, close, far away.
There's a blue van behind me and we are slowing down for the bus. I'm slowing it down very slowly, like I'm braking slowly. I've checked the left mirror before I moved into the left.
Well, how could the signal have affected this driver, the left signal? Turn right at the roundabout, by the way, third exit. Did you need signalling after the bus?
Not actually.
Because that white Corsa could have pulled out on you because you were slow enough to look like you was turning into the junction.
Yeah.
that driver do on the roundabout to get round us?
He went in the left-hand side lane.
Yeah, and turn right.
And turn right.
Very, very dangerous. Has he got very far? Did he? Was it worth it, do you think, for the amount of risk? Not really. Why do you think he went round us though? What could you be doing more of that you're not really doing?
Speed.
Getting up to speed, yeah. Anything merging in with us? Keep me informed with these mirrors. No? If you don't know, if you don't check, you don't know. Sooner in the gear change. Every time you look forward, see yourself getting a bit close to the white car. But I agree with getting into the left. We could have done it with that on the first slip road, the first bit of carriageway as well. But we've just gone to the road, just getting established. Bit of discretion there, but yeah, try and get it as soon as possible. Getting up to speed will help that. Thinking about the speed of people. Why do you think he still ain't got very far, has he? That BT van.
Yeah, it's still
really wally. So what? Why do you think that driver felt the need to use the left-hand lane to turn right at the roundabout to get past us?
Because he thinks we are driving slow.
I think it was the bus thing that did it. I think he was a bit slow going around that bus. I like the fact he slowed a bit and dropped the gear. I like that. I think that's good. But try and keep speed up so it's a bit more continuous. So what you could have done was the bus in all that time could have got its signal and started moving and said, "Oh, I'm not sure what you're doing. I'm going to go anyway." Alright, so just keep following the road ahead now for about another good mile. So next lesson then, do you want to have a look at the Bay Park? Forwards and reverse, yeah? I feel like with the things we've been dealing with, there's not been the time, if we'd have got that in, wouldn't have been looking at the other things as well. What do you think? What do you think?
That's true. The speed limit is still 50, I believe. Is it correct?
It's just changed to the national. White circles either side of you, so you've got to be spotting them. Massive they are. I know they blend in with the white sky behind you, in front of you. And to talk about white skies, what's happened to the conditions? It's changed somewhat since the picture 2 hours ago.
There's a lot of fog.
This looks like fog, doesn't it? Whether it is fog's another thing, but we're gonna. Have you got your lights on? How could you tell me right now if you've got them on or not? Have you got them on or not?
I think they are there.
Yes, they are. Yeah. 2 green icons. Change lanes one to the right, please. Get your speed up. So that could have been a problem then if you didn't keep your speed up. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So turning right, 3rd exit. Talking about speed limits for new roads.
40.
Yeah. So this is where we need to be looking at.
Turning right.
3rd exit. Foot down there. About this mirror. Keep telling me every mirror check you do. Yeah? Tell me before you check it. I'm going to go ahead at this one. What mirror check you're going to do? Yeah. Cancel the signal. Keep telling me about them mirrors.
There's nothing in the left-hand side.
Let's start by you telling me me which ones you're checking. Just say centre left, centre right, centre, or you know, whatever.
Okay.
So which ones have you checked there?
Center.
And
There's a van following us.
alright, okay. Which one are you going to check now? In case these are, check your left in case those. So I check left on the approach because I'd expect them to, on a wide road, to overtake anyway. So I'll be checking for the room on my left before I get in the scenario. We're going to go ahead at the roundabout. So check your centre mirror. This van does, that could be important to know that. Got reverse lights on. Spotted. Pull up on the right at a safe place, please.
Just carry on to that.
Stop. Got to be stopping sooner. You're thinking there about mainly driveways and blocking entrances, aren't you? Convenience has to come out of the picture completely when we're dealing with safety. What did we have oncoming that was rolling towards? Yeah. So get rid of the driveway thoughts for there, because that can come after. What you needed to do was get your right signal back on. Was you aware that it had cancelled?
No.
Just to make you more obvious as to what you're doing, because it's approaching and you're doing something kind of irregular. Now on the driving test, they might not ask you to pull up on such a narrow street like this.
Okay.
But I thought it was beneficial to just go over it again and just encounter different scenarios. Why might you park on the right? Because we didn't talk about this before. Why might you do such a thing?
Maybe like if our house on the right hand side, maybe we try to park our car on the right hand side. Maybe there is some luggage which we don't want to carry from the other side of the road.
Could be.
Maybe like the road on the other side is completely filled with cars and there's no space.
Could be. Or all the cars park on this side, so therefore you park on that side, you'd stand out like a sore thumb and you'd probably get clipped.
Yeah.
Could be a number of them things, couldn't it? So what's the danger in parking on this side of the road at night?
For the oncoming vehicles, we are actually blocking the road.
Yeah. Do you know anything about reflectors on vehicles? So what do you know then? So if a car was coming this way, would it see your reflectors? Would it have as much chance of spotting you? Say if it was a bit dim lighted around here, wasn't very visible at night.
Yeah, maybe for them, for the oncoming vehicles, they can. There is more chance to see the reflectors.
If what? Sorry.
If we park on this side, on the right hand side.
No, there's less, because what happens is, yeah, you don't have any reflectors on the front. The reflectors are on the back, where on the back lights. So you're meant to park sort of facing the flow of the traffic.
Okay.
So if we parked on the left, that would work, because cars coming from behind, because that's the direction they're travelling in, they've got more chance of spotting us. It works a bit like a high visibility jacket. Now that it just is visible that bit sooner. So that's why really you shouldn't park on the right after hours. You know, when it starts to get dull. But you have to use a bit of common sense, don't you? I suppose, depending on where you live and what. Anyway, with that said, what have you learnt from that?
We should not park on the right hand side and leave the car during the night hours.
Yeah, can be dangerous. And what about oncoming vehicles when pulling up on the right? I was once having a curry in Sutton Coldfield once. Was sat at the window, and their delivery driver kept coming back in after he dropped something, and he kept pulling up on the right. Which, yeah, but the way he was doing it, there was traffic oncoming, and he was driving in a head-on collision type thing every time. You know what I mean? There was just a little little bit of that with what you was doing. Not much. It wasn't massive risk, but I didn't want you to keep rolling. You know. Yeah. So what did you learn?
So
you told me about it earlier as well.
If there's a vehicle, then we should not move in that direction.
Yeah, get yourself so you're at least parallel. So your back end ain't hanging out, and then bring it to a stop at the earliest point, I would say. Then you can always edge after it's gone and clear the driveway. So safety first, then convenience, access and all that lot. Alright?
Yep.
Sorry if I answered your question there, but
you did.
Just help to speed things along a bit, I guess. Alright, so when you're ready, drive on. Good. And at the end of the road, turn left.
I've checked my centre and left hand side mirror.
Good man. Because we didn't expect that to happen, did we?
That's horrible. Are they allowed to park on the curb?
No. Nor that close to the junction. How many metres should he be back, Sharon?
10 metres?
Yeah, that's it. So for those watching who don't understand why we check the mirrors before we slow down, or do it just because their instructor told them to, by checking before you slow, what can you do differently then?
We can give them early warning of slowing down, like we can press the brake pedal a little bit and give a warning, early warning.
You can turn left, roundabout. Road on the right, so keep us updated with your mirrors.
The Dodge is
for ages. Do you know if the roads are still closed? If you went straight on down this road and kept going, or do we have to use Harvey Road still? I just don't know which way you come in the mornings and that. But I've been going the same way for the last so many weeks to pick you up because I've not checked basically.
Not sure. I usually don't come down this road.
Oh yeah, 'cause you come from the other side. Don't worry,
Yeah.
don't worry, we'll sort it. Well done. Good, good, good. Really, really good. So there's no point slamming the brakes on for the pedestrian if the Audi behind's going to shunt us and slam us into the pedestrian anyway. So by doing that, you might brake a bit lighter, give the pedestrian more time to react and step back, and hopefully you can resolve things. Okay, so at the lights, go ahead, straight on. Keep us updated with those mirrors.
There's a car behind us, not very close.
Any directional changes from yourself?
Directional changes?
Yeah.
I think we'll have to end up there.
Is that why you checked your left mirror just?
Yeah.
Would you check it again?
Yeah.
I think that was the right time to check it as well, just to the point where you sort of veer to the left. Keep following the road ahead, unless road or traffic signs direct you otherwise, yeah?
Okay.
So, end of the lesson.
Yeah.
How do you feel it went?
Went well. I think for the next lesson I'll have to concentrate more on the mirror checks. I think, but towards the end of the lesson I was okay with that.
Yeah.
But here and there, mostly at that junction where I was speeding up a bit, like there was a tight corner where I should be going in second gear.
And that was when the camera had stopped, just to be clear, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The camera had just cut out and was following roadworks.
Yeah. And there was a tight corner.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit quick there. So instead of going in second, I was actually going in fourth. Yeah.
So what didn't you identify early enough?
The corner was so tight. I didn't get it early.
We've been working quite a lot on signs, haven't we? What sign would you see that would highlight a sharp bend, or could you have seen there?
Either Sharan's or like...
Yeah. Sometimes they're red at roadworks, sometimes not. But the blue arrows as well. Yeah. The blue circles, sorry. Because they'll point you to the bend and draw your attention to, and then you'll think, oh God, that looks sharp. Can't see the road in front. Well, the reason why is because it goes like that. Okay, yeah, so...
Yeah, that's the whole thing. And at the roundabout near McDonald's, like, I was looking more onto the left-hand side, and actually on my right I was going into the roundabout.
I noticed that with people who are learning to drive, is every time they turn right, the right tyres are always really close to the inside. I'm amazed how in my career as an instructor we've not hit that side more. But that it goes to show there is no room for error, because you was looking, like you say, left a bit too long, and I had to just grab the wheel, didn't I, and pull you away, because I reckon the right tyres had clipped. Yeah. What do you think about your speed on that roundabout as well? Why was it important that we didn't slow too much? Because
other vehicles would go catch up on the left hand side and we cannot move.
And what about the vehicles waiting to emerge who were just kind of in front of us? They were sort of there, we're coming around and we need to get off here. Yeah. If you slow too much as you're coming around, what are these guys?
They'll take the opportunity and
they'll keep going, and you'll be lumbered in the middle of the roundabout. Good, yeah. So that's what happened after the camera stopped rolling. Yeah. Because the battery ran out, basically, on the other one. So you can watch my video on mirrors, by the way. I've got a video called Mirror Signal Maneuver, MSM, which ones, why and when. If you, I know you've got a good understanding anyway, but that might help you. But it's more the forward planning of knowing that you should check the mirrors before you need to, if that makes sense. Yeah.
understand. Yeah, so those are the main takeaways. Like, don't look at one side for long. You should be keep looking at all the sides, and
the way you're going on the roundabout.
Yeah.
What have you learnt about turning left at T-junctions? About your observations today?
Following the curb on the left hand side, like again, keep looking on both the sides, look left, look right, look in front, and then follow the curb instead of going straight ahead. Like if you look for long on the right hand side, maybe we'll end up going straight.
Yeah, that's right, because you want to steer with the curb. At junction, at roundabouts, same again. Just that last little bit. Sometimes just looking to the right bit too long, and just starting to go off. Not too bad, that, to be honest, but there's potential there. So same again. What we're going to cause if we're too slow when doing stuff like overtaking buses, or not getting speed in the road if it's a 50 road or something. What we're going to cause
other vehicles to undertake us, like they try to speed up on the left hand side lane, overtake us or undertake us.
That's it. So what should you be thinking as you enter a new road, or if you are overtaking a bus or whatever? What should you be doing? What should you be trying to keep?
Try to keep the speed.
Yeah.
And be confident, or like give the signal and move over.
Sometimes. Go on.
Don't slow down much.
Sometimes, yeah. I think when I was taking that bus just before the Asda near roundabout, the roundabout near Asda earlier, the top of Rangeway, I just slowed a bit, maybe drop the gear 4 to 3, bit of a hold back, have a look, make sure signal's on, and keep going, keep that continuity with the speed. Yeah, just don't overthink it.
Yep.
Yeah. What else? Any other main points today?
These are the points, I believe.
All right. And what about turning, pulling up on the right? Everything makes sense with that? Yeah. If there's an oncoming car, what will you do in future? If it's so close, yeah. And what's the other thing? Access.
Like first stop, let the vehicle go, and then try to give access to the driveways. Good.
And if we're in slow moving traffic scenario, what about access there?
We'll have to hold back if there's if we block the road, if we continue. So
might do. Yeah.
But if there is if the cars in front are rolling, and if there is space for us, maybe we can also roll into the space slowly.
Yeah. Just looking far enough ahead to decide, because if the cars are still moving, it's okay to block if you're still moving, because you're not going to block. You're going to be moving out of the way, even though it's slower. What have you learnt about a Y junction today? What's a Y junction?
Like on what we've seen on the diagram. We have a road here, we have a road coming from the other side, like this.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is more or less a T-junction, but in a different position. The layout is a bit different.
And how would you know if you can't turn into a road? What would you see on the approach?
No entry signs.
Yeah. I think that's everything, without going into every last little detail. Is there anything you feel that I've missed today?
No.
Anything you're unsure of?
No.
And do you feel that you've achieved your objective, which was what at the beginning?
Like more confident with the general driving, I think.
Yeah. Still stepping the ladder.
Yes, yep.
Good stuff. And next lesson, what would you like to set out to achieve next session?
Complete like from general driving perspective, maybe like demonstrate whatever I've learned this in this lesson, along with what I've been doing before. So
yeah,
it should be up to the mark. Like I don't have to worry about the general driving anymore.
Okay. All right. And do you want to look at the manoeuvre as well, maybe? Bay Park? Throw some of that in, mixed in with the general driving. All right, that sounds good. Yeah. All right, I'll look forward to working with you then.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers.
Nice. Yeah.
Cheers. Thank you.